This dashcam video comes from Tempe, Arizona. Rafaela Vasquez is watching Hulu on her phone when suddenly a bicyclist heads directly into her path. One thing makes this recording an extra strange case. This is actually an experimental self-driving car made by Uber that is supposed to be able to operate without a driver. With that said, Uber hired Rafaela to sit in the car and take the steering wheel just in case something like this happened, which she sadly failed to do. The pedestrian, Elaine Herzberg, did not pull through. Despite this, I could not find any news articles that says Rafaela Vasquez was charged with anything. Maybe Elaine violated traffic laws by crossing at an unmarked spot at night. Let me know if you think Uber or Rafaela should be held responsible. Exploring abandoned places is supposed to be an adventure, but it can also lead to some unexpected encounters. YouTube channel Explore Abandoned Places with Tattoo Tony Alton published this video in October of 2016, writing, "We ran into 4 very strange people and were surprised while exploring. 2 that I got really bad vibes from. They seem like they may be wanted and running from the police. The school does look pretty creepy from the outside, and when you enter, the eeriness heightens. The place looks like a haunted house, graffiti lining the walls, broken windows, loads of decay and rubble on the ground." Early on in the video, Tony notes that this guy wouldn't stay out of his camera shots. About 20 minutes into the video, Tony comes across 4 men and quickly turns the camera away from them, so they don't grow angry or suspicious of his motives. While the entire encounter isn't shown, at the end of the video, Tony describes the men and explains what happened off camera. He says that 2 looked harmless, 1 was an old man, pockmarked and crazy, and the last guy was younger, shifty and acting strange. 2 of the dudes kept inviting Tony downstairs to see some cool stuff, but he got a bad vibe from them and was worried about getting his equipment taken. The weirdest thing was 1 offered to babysit his kids whenever Tony wants to go exploring. More than a little creepy. This door sounds like a witch, and I'm not even exaggerating. Would you be able to live in a house that made this noise? People in the comments are saying it's possessed or cursed. I'm not going that far, but I'm just saying that if any part of my house even sounds remotely like this, I'm moving far away. A group of friends are recording themselves lifting weights and basically just joking around in a small gym. The situation suddenly becomes very serious when one of them leaves the room and then comes rushing back to bang on the glass for help.
You say I ain't gonna pick you up.
4.
You know what? What is it? Where are you doing?
A tentacle-like appendage seems to wrap around their friend's waist and pulls him away. The group goes outside and searches for their friend Nathan, but he has vanished. Then another friend goes missing too.
There.
Hey, come on.
I could count as one.
Open the door. That's when the back.
The 2 survivors run back into the building to talk about what just happened. One of them is in complete denial and thinks that they are simply being pranked. They are talking about whether this is really happening or not, when suddenly their worst fears are confirmed.
You're not laughing at this? This is crazy. This is hilarious. That's nasty. That's nasty.
Well, there is a strong possibility that this could be CGI. The uploader has not come out and said that this was a short film. Instead, they insist it's real. Most of the people in the comments section agree that this is authentic, but I'd definitely like to hear what you think. This woman claims that she would go to bed at night only to be woken up by strange noises and left with the unshakable feeling that she was not alone. When she sets up a camera to record some evidence, she finds this bizarre footage the next day. Imagine watching yourself trying to sleep while this figure haunts your dreams. At one point, the supposed phantom appears to be lunging at her. She says that she believes she was still awake during this point and remembers seeing nothing. Only when the contrast on the video was enhanced did anything become visible. A YouTuber named Shadow the Wolf is with his friend when they see a complete stranger walking up to them without saying a word.
Oh my god.
He's coming closer.
Oh my god, shut the window.
They quickly run upstairs and lock the door as the silent figure moves closer. I have little doubt that this video is real, because they are just some kids and this is clearly a full-grown man. They realize he is trying to get in through the garage and quickly lock the basement door. I'm not sure if this is some random person or a fan, but with over 19,000 subscribers, I think it's possible that this could have been one of them. Gabby Licht has seen a ghost. Published in September of 2018, Gabby shares her ghost story while also showing footage she captured on camera. The scary video shows the door of her room opening and closing slightly, back and forth. She also says the knob is jiggling.
When I had a ghost experience, but I'll put the video here. You can kind of see the handle just like wiggling back and forth, and it's kind of weird. It didn't freak me out that bad, but it's kind of strange to have it on video. I showed my parents and it freaked my mom out, but I've had other stuff happen, so it was just kind of interesting to get that one on video. But this next one, I guess...
Gabby has been experiencing the paranormal for something like 8 years now, and this is just one event she captured on video. Is something trying to communicate with her? It sure seems that way to me. The big question is, what is it saying? A YouTuber named Cup of Mocha is in the middle of making a video when she realizes she is no longer by herself at home.
What the This door is not supposed to be open.
The video goes from light and playful to an emergency situation after she sees the busted basement door. I personally would have called the police at this point, but Cup of Mocha decides to stay. Watch this part and tell me if you think she should have ran upstairs or kept recording.
I'm just gonna film this just in case like the police find it or something. But that's what the heck is going on?
She goes from room to room half expecting to get jumped by some crazed intruder at any moment. She eventually tiptoes into a large laundry room with many hiding spots. It looks all clear until this happens next.
There's literally no one here. Oh my!
According to Cup of Mocha, someone bumps her from behind and she drops her camera as they run away. I wasn't sure if this was real or not, but over 1 year later, she still appears to be having problems with this obsessed fan.
Oh my god, Monique, we need to go. Come here. What?
She sounds really scared here, but I would like to know if you think she is truly in danger or just making a fictional series. A YouTuber named Monster Mike Fishing may have landed his biggest catch yet, and it's nowhere near the ocean. His friend Jacob plugs the pipe so that their target can't escape, but now he has to reach into the murky waters to pull it out by hand. As soon as he announces that he's okay, this happens.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Guys,
Oh my god!
At 6 minutes and 12 seconds, the snake opens its mouth, and Jacob is barely able to hang on with one hand. He almost drops it and then quickly catches it again before it has a chance to attack. Now Jacob grapples with the snake and they wrestle to a stalemate. He can't hold this position much longer and calls to his friends.
I need help.
Only when he is pulled out of the sewer do they realize how massive this reptile really is and how much danger he was truly in and how risky this truly was. Check out what a YouTuber named Aquachigger found growing on the bottom of a river in Williamsport, Maryland. It's a riverbed full of green gelatinous plant life that strangely sways and shimmers. Aquachigger believes he may have found some kind of a brightly colored underwater alien colony. While I'm not so sure about that, I certainly do think this is a strange find. Let me know if you have seen anything like it before, and if so, what it could be. Ika Tulit Jeed is from Indonesia, and her dog is focused on something she can't see, something she thinks is paranormal. The dog's making some weird noises at something, but paranormal? Let's see.
Kayak dia ngomong sendiri. Nah, lihat. Lihat. Dia tidak tahu dia lihat apa di situ, nah. Ini nih, dia lihat di sini nih. Tidak tahu ada apa ya.
I can't say that I see anything in the corner, which is creepy, but with that said, I've seen dogs act like this when they're expecting to get a reward.
I came from Albuquerque, and he was in the military and in Vietnam. I told them that Charles was not my boyfriend, he was a friend of mine, and I was helping out.
Maybe she taught her dog to hold a pose to fake this paranormal video. If so, very clever. This deer is eating some corn when suddenly it looks up as if something is approaching. The camera jumps ahead and barely manages to catch this strange fleeting movement on the right side of the screen. The shadowy figure has everyone talking about the possibility of Slenderman, who apparently has been rumored to be in this forest for years. It kind of looks like it might be wearing a business suit and has an all-white head completely devoid of all features, but it's hard to tell for sure. This video is taken on a creature expedition deep in the woods of Alabama. Is this an unknown creature caught on tape? They think they see a figure hiding between two trees, and when they zoom in for a closer look, they hear a deep noise. Well, some people think this is a cryptid noise. I'm pretty sure it's just the sound of the zoom lens going in and out of focus. Do you think this is a creature sighting they've caught on camera? I think they were just creeped out in some admittedly scary woods. Imagine going out for a relaxing day on the beach and seeing this mysterious figure walking just a couple of miles away. This tall man with a bright white head and all black clothes walks towards the water as if nothing is out of the ordinary. I will add that this area looks pretty lonely, and there's really no reason for anybody to dress up like Slenderman as a prank here. It's too bad the person filming wasn't able to get any closer, though I can certainly respect their desire to keep as much space as possible. A paranormal investigator known only as Survivor is on his way to go exploring an abandoned haunted cottage. On the outskirts of town, 1 o'clock in the morning is when he sees, in his words, a strange grandmother on an abandoned road. There is no reason for anybody to be walking miles from town so late at night, let alone a senior, so he pulls over to see if she needs any help. To his surprise, the woman who was just there moments ago has mysteriously disappeared. He has a really bad feeling, so he pulls over at the side of the road. What he finds next has him wondering if this was a real ghost sighting caught on video. He finds nothing but an old tattered cloth where the woman was last sighted. It looks like it could just be a piece of roadside trash like a tarp or something. Take another look. Was this item really what her ghost was wearing? A YouTuber named Philip DeFranco is busy analyzing the news for his channel when somebody barges into his home office unannounced.
Come in. Hi. Oh, are you looking for, who are you looking for? Anyone?
The unseen voice calmly says that they are basically looking for anyone related to the show to talk to.
What's that? Oh wait, can you open?
I'm a fan.
Philip DeFranco handles the situation remarkably well and does not overreact. The fan appears shy and not much of a threat. The fact that he was willing to look up his address and then wander over could mean that he's not all there mentally. Based on what you've seen, tell me if you think this fan was generally curious or up to no good. Maybe he was snooping around for a souvenir to take and got caught. The Rolling Hills Asylum in East Bethany, New York is weird, really weird. So weird that it's classified as a paranormal research center now for ghost hunters. Liam Neville is exploring the haunted asylum when something strange and maybe paranormal catches his attention. This is what he's caught on camera and what's been haunting his memories ever since.
Yeah, there's definitely somebody down here. There's a light coming from that. Unless there's a light down there. Whoa. Yo.
Played in slow motion, and you'll see that his flashlight is off when they see the mysterious light in the hall. Liam and his friend are simultaneously frozen in place with fear and ecstatic.
I saw a figure at the end of the hallway.
So did I. Oh
Wow.
my.
I definitely saw that.
Yo, you saw that?
Yeah.
They claim to see a shadow figure in the hallway, and I think I might see it 59 seconds into the video. What do you think?
Yo.
It's 3 a.m. when this home security camera catches something weird on video. At 5 seconds, you can see strands of a spider web, but that's not what I'm talking about. 6 seconds later, a bug breaks free of the web. It looks normal in flight, and only when it lands on the doorbell camera does it look kind of humanoid, like it might not be a bug after all. Tell me if you can see a vaguely human outline here at 13 seconds, or if you think this 3 a.m. sighting is nothing more than an overactive imagination. These paranormal investigators use a flashlight to communicate with their ghostly counterparts. Published by Mackie and Amanda in April of 2022, the pair explore the haunted Cosmopolitan Hotel in San Diego. The girls talk to the spirits in the hotel, requesting that they interact with this dangling string, and the spirits respond.
Just touch that string one time. Did you see that?
And if you're watching it, because I'm watching you hold the things completely still, I watched like how far it was going up against the line, you know? It definitely moved further.
It looked like someone touched a string about a foot up.
I don't understand. There's no wind.
Either.
Later, while sitting in bed, they hear repeated noises. They check to see if someone is walking outside on the balcony, but no one's there.
Oh, God. Oh. Do you hear that? Is someone open? No.
There's no one here, Amanda.
I haven't seen really anyone at this place.
I haven't either.
Then the water starts to drip in the bathroom, and it continues to sound like someone is in their room.
I think room 11 was the one that they... Sounds like someone's in here.
They ask the spirits to turn the flashlight off and then back on. After asking the spirits to repeat this act, the flashlight turns off and the REM pod in the bathroom goes off as well.
Can you turn the flashlight off? All the way, completely off. Mikey!
Oh,
Mikey,
turn it off, turn it off.
The spirits continue communicating with the girls through the flashlight. They find out that they're speaking to a ghost named Isadora. She confirms it's her through the REM pod.
Okay, wait. Isadora, if that's you, okay, I was gonna say, can you go over to that REM pod we have in the bathroom?
That red light.
That red light that was just beeping. Can you make it start going off again? Can you make it start beeping?
We'll give you like 15 seconds. Just like she said yes.
Oh my God.
The correspondence continues for a long while, with Isadora being very communicative. Mackie and Amanda return to talk to her later.
I feel like no one's here.
No one's here right now. Just give it a minute.
Isadora? What was that? What is that? Wait, what is that? It's shaking.
They check out early because they're understandably creeped out. It sounds like there's many unseen residents of this hotel, and they're not leaving anytime soon. This next video, made to raise awareness, is supposed to replicate voices in your head. Among the many visual and audio delusions is one in particular that really gets to me, a girl with no eyes who appears at random. The girl with no eyes is apparently very common and reported by many. The following scene is an example of how she usually comes to them, or rather for them.
She is here.
Nowhere is safe from the girl with no eyes, because once she is in your mind, there's nowhere to hide. This is what it's supposed to be like when she finds you. No one knows why so many people have reported seeing the exact same figure. Maybe it's a subconscious manifestation of a common fear we all have, or maybe it's some type of possession that's driving people to madness. If this video is just a simulation, then I can only imagine how terrifying the real thing must be face to face. Thank you to a user named Calligram for posting this awesome and mysterious creature video to the Chills Narrator subreddit, so we couldn't figure out what this toxic looking creature was until somebody pointed out it was a type of giant slug known as a sea hare. So now that we know it's a deep sea creature, then can somebody please tell me why it's not underwater? Please tell me that these things don't occasionally come onto land on purpose. Maybe it got washed ashore. It almost looks like it chewed a path into the ground, so maybe it's making a nest. Anyone who can give us some reasonable insight into this creepy unexplained video would be much appreciated. And be sure to submit your own videos to my subreddit at r/chillsnarrator. This video will definitely make you want to double check all of your wiring in your home. Eric McGregor takes one look at this discolored brown outlet and identifies a major problem.
It's catching on fire.
Amber sparks shoot out of the middle of a frayed wire that is still hot and fully charged. It looks like the wall is going to catch on fire at any moment, especially here 23 seconds into the video. Eric calmly unscrews the outlet and plucks it free from the wall, which in turn trips the breaker and turns off all the power. I don't know if this is the safest solution, so you definitely shouldn't consider this video to be a tutorial of any kind, but his strategy does seem to work in this specific instance. Sometimes these kind of faulty wires can go undetected for months or even years. All it takes in the meantime is one random spark, especially late at night, to change everything forever. A ghost hunting YouTube channel called Spartan Hunters 2 explores the narrow stone corridors of the old Paulding County Jail in Ohio for any signs of the afterlife. As soon as they turn the corner, they hear something that sends shivers down my spine.
Did you hear that?
What was that?
Wow.
An anguished scream cries out from deep within the jail complex, which I'm sure most of you heard, but did you hear the creepy laughter that follows the scream? Listen really closely and you can make out the faint echoes of laughter bouncing off the walls. It happens right after he says, "Did you hear that?"
Did you hear that?
Miglino goes to pick up his child for a custody visit, but finds his mother-in-law waiting for him instead. After a brief argument, she brandishes a piece and fires twice at close range.
Oh no! I can't believe you did that! I can't believe you did that! What, are you crazy?
It's pretty obvious that Salvador is the one who is innocent, but his mother-in-law lies to the 911 operator and says that she was acting in self-defense. She is completely unaware that the whole incident was recorded.
Or you pulled the gun on him?
No, he pulled it on me and he got it. He drove away.
I think she sounds very convincing and could have possibly framed Salvador if not for the video he took. Salvador survives, but the mother-in-law could face up to 30 years for doing this. Tell me what you think her sentence should be based on the video evidence. Bloopers are more than just laughs. Published in October of 2012. What is that? 09 writes, I was recording my brother for his school project and he was looking back through the bloopers and then he noticed this thing. As the boy practices his speech, a dog on the couch behind him is playing with the blinds. Look closely over the boy's shoulder. A creepy creature appears in the darkness as the blinds open. The creature's bizarre face looks humanoid but somewhat extraterrestrial.
Go.
The biome we chose was the taiga border forest, which is located in Russia, northern Canada, and
It's peering in at them. What is this thing? The uploader notes, to where the thing's head was at, had to be 5 feet tall, because that's how high the window is. Is this creature stalking them? Or is it one of the boy's peers, trying to cheat on his school project? A YouTuber named Lothvan hears a knock at 4:30 in the morning. This has been going on for quite a while, and he's finally had enough, so he grabs his camera and heads out. He films the outside scenery for a bit and catches nothing but crickets chirping under a night sky, or so he thinks. He looks at the video later and notices a small white face peering back at him from the shadows. Lothvan is now convinced that this is proof of how Slenderman stalks him and haunts his dreams at night. I'm curious as to whether or not you think someone was really there, or if this all sounds made up. Here's a question for this video. Human or mutant? Published by Mr. Illusion. I truly hope that this is an illusion. The scary video shows a creature with a very human-like face curled up on the floor. Its body, however, is not human. It's small and extremely hairy with hooved limbs and sharp talons. I wouldn't want to run into this horror in the wild, and I'm pretty sure 83% of people wouldn't either. Only 17% can handle it. A dark alley gets even creepier when a mysterious figure peeks in from nowhere. At 6 seconds, it straightens up and briefly assumes a human form before losing its shape and abruptly flying away. A ghost sighting has been caught on tape if this security video is to be believed. If not, then it looks like an insect landed on the lens to create this effect and then flew away. Knock knock. Who's there? Published by C's Crazy Crossroads in March of 2022. C is exploring a random creepy house in the woods that looks like it's abandoned. But is it? Chris and Joe first hear this ruckus coming from another room. He says the drain cover moved.
This freaking thing just moved.
What is it?
A drain, like, cover thing.
Later, as he's capturing footage of walls that have been punched in and the wallpaper torn off, his camera light keeps shutting off despite having good battery life.
If I could get my light going again. Alright, there's still battery life on my light and it keeps shutting off in here for some reason. Yep, this light on top.
He then hears something break, and then his light goes out again. Is something unpleasantly paranormal lingering here? Unseen. It seems like Chris and Joe got out just in time.
Let's say 36 or...
That was weird. And the light went out. Alright.
This video was supposedly taken by a robotic camera while surveying an old oil tanker. A school of fish briefly swims in front of the camera, and suddenly one of the fish gets nailed by a spear in front of the camera. Something fast swims by to collect the fish shortly after. Many people believe that this video demonstrates the possibility of some kind of advanced sea creature who uses tools to hunt. After all, there's no reason for a person to be this far underwater hunting with a spear, and whatever moves in front of the camera is too fast to be a person. Of course, the obvious answer is CGI, but I would love to get your thoughts. Published by Urban Ghost Hunters in February of 2020. This paranormal crew investigated a haunted 19th century church in rural Tennessee, with urban legends surrounding it, involving dark rituals from the 60s onward, and reports of shadow figures and disembodied voices there. It was ripe for investigation, and the crew wasn't disappointed. After placing a Bible on the candlelit railing in the church, something in there was angered by it. I guess this church lives up to its haunted reputation. Some friends practice soccer and talk about life when they cross paths with something that will change all of theirs forever. Caught on camera is what they claim to be a strange goblin creature clambering across the kitchen floor. Only one of them looks directly at it, and he drops to the ground and covers his eyes like they burn. The creature, which barely comes up to waist level, runs out from behind this area behind the refrigerator. They lose sight of the goblin in a dark room, and the encounter is over, at least for now. This list is probably making you feel you're as unsafe inside your home as you are outside of it. This entry is no exception. Posted by Borgburger, this video captures a man who is trying to film inside his neighbor's home. Apparently, the neighbor had been filming inside their home for weeks. The homeowner's girlfriend said that the man often approached her when she was collecting post, and she felt he was creepy. He once offered that if there was anything he could do for her, just let him know. The video shows the man in his own home entering a room across from theirs. According to the video, he picks up his camera, which had been charging, positions himself on the floor out of sight, then starts recording from a corner of the window. You can actually see the red light from his video camera appear in the darkness. He peers over the windowsill to see that no one sees him. Then he resumes recording. He is again seen more clearly, standing up to look out the window. Then he ducks back down to resume his peeping position. The man filming or photographing goes on for a solid 2 minutes, and probably longer, because this clip seems to have been cut before the man finishes. The clip also shows the man being taken to the station by police. The homeowner said his girlfriend felt incredibly upset as her privacy had been violated. Who wouldn't? Considering her intuition about this man, this just goes to show that you should always trust your gut. A search of official reports of this invasion of privacy could not be found, so it's unclear whether or not this situation ended in charges being pressed against the culprit. Whatever the case, this one will make you pull your shutters closed and lock them tight. Jay Duncan is at home with his wife and daughter. When he looks out his door and sees a total stranger in rough shape, the man is having a fast-paced conversation with no one but himself, and he can't hold still for a single second.
He's just out there, man. He just won't go away.
When he finally notices Jay a full minute later, his first move is to immediately try the door. I can only imagine what this intruder would have done next had he gotten inside. Instead, he throws his hands up in exasperation, as if they have no right to keep their front door locked. He barks a series of threats and demands to be let in. I think he basically says he's through playing games with them, whatever that means. They snicker at him through the door until he gives up and gets into a relatively upscale truck to leave. Obviously, if he has a truck, then he also has a warm place to stay, which makes me wonder why he wanted to get into Jay Duncan's home to begin with. I think that maybe this person might have been out of their mind and thought they were outside of their own home. If so, I really hope they don't come back when Jay Duncan is asleep at night and try the same again. A child is left alone for just a moment, but still long enough for her to have a possible conversation with a ghost. Look across from her at the wrapped silverware in front of the glass and watch what it does as she speaks.
Let's go dinner.
The silverware moves all by itself shortly after she reminds an invisible person that this is not their dinner. She could be talking to an imaginary friend, but that doesn't explain how the object moved without being touched. The ghost appears to leave her alone after this brief interaction, and she happily resumes eating as if nothing happened. Exactly what it was planning to do to their food could be anyone's guess. A student is doing some schoolwork on his computer when somebody comes in and starts recording. They have a short conversation that's interrupted by a large figure standing in the darkened doorway behind them. The creature's head almost touches the ceiling, and its arms are so gigantic and long that they don't even fully fit in the camera frame. Its arms look long enough to pluck them from the couch and drag them to their doom. Fortunately for them, the two friends get away just in time and take off. They glance back for a moment only to find Slenderman silently regarding them from the top of the stairs. Now that you've seen this on video, I'm eager to hear if you think this was a real Slenderman sighting or just someone in a really good costume. Security cameras often catch those creatures that we'd rather know nothing about. This is one of them. This video took place in Southern California. The uploader writes, "This thing fell through the wood under the eave of my house and struggled for 3 hours until it fell." The vid starts where it happened in the daytime and then goes to the event. The uploader adds that whatever the creature is came out at the top right near the vent, and it happened between midnight and 3:30 in the morning. The footage shows what appeared to be a tentacle-like object, which appears and then disappears several times. The pointy end of it starts wiggling, and it stretches out as if it's trying to reach the vent, while the other end still attached to the wall. It does finally manage to acrobat over and get its head up in there. Then, before you know it, it's squirming up into the vent, its tail waggling all over the place. It's then seen wrapping around a nearby pole before it climbs down the wall. Last seen on the ground at 3:30 in the morning. Looks like an acrobatic snake to me. Whatever the creature is, it's sure to keep you up at night. A paranormal explorer named Yash Sadiq brings us a ghost sighting all the way from Tamil Nadu, a large state in South India. This abandoned house has sat rotting for years until their investigation reveals the presence of something lurking within. A dark and mysterious figure watches them from the other side of a wall and then retreats. It looks like a real ghost sighting at first, but look again and you'll see a small edit here at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. It could be a camera glitch from Paranormal Energy. However, I think the real reason for this edit is because they didn't like the way it looked the first time and decided to record the scene again.
There's something over here, moving around.
This was the moment when a YouTuber named Mixed Breed Entertainment gasped in surprise. And turned around because he thinks that he felt the presence of a ghost so near. That's not enough evidence to prove this basement is haunted, but what happens next certainly is.
I'll try something real quick. Is there anyone here? What the?
The stuffed animal falls over when a ghost is asked to move an object.
Did the teddy bear just move? What the f is that?
Then a ghost orb is caught on camera seemingly coming out of the toy itself.
It just got really what the f?
Okay, so the toy could fall and a particle of dust could fly over it, I suppose. But when the same thing happens a second time, coincidences go out the window. Paranormal is what I think this is.
Can you move it again? Oh,
Sure enough, there's another orb when this happens. A YouTuber named Jack Williams is hanging out in the basement with his friends when the radio on the top floor comes on at full volume. They stand outside of the house for a while and then decide to go back inside.
Oh God.
Where's it coming from?
My parents' room.
All of them rush inside at once. Soon they start to think it could just be the radio somehow messing up and turning on by itself. But one of them isn't so sure.
I swear to God I heard something in there. I swear.
They spend some time checking under the bed and other areas, but there's just one place they didn't check thoroughly enough. Maybe it's just me, but this large pile of blankets seems to have a suspiciously human-shaped lump in the middle. Take a look at this part and let me know if you think the person could have been hiding in there or not. A man is walking around the infamous Alcatraz when he picks up two possible paranormal encounters. I'll start with the weirdest one first. He is inspecting a roll of holding cells when a loud voice seems to call out to him with a single question. It sounds to me as if the deep voice is asking one simple word: why? The second possible encounter occurs as he is entering another part of the prison. Listen to this strange and haunting laugh. This one has a fairly reasonable explanation. Alcatraz is on an island, so maybe this was a bird call echoing off the prison's walls. I can't tell for sure, so let me know what you think about these two events. A YouTuber named Adrian Bustamante documents yet another night of paranormal activity in his apartment to prove once and for all it's haunted. There are a few different paranormal videos on his channel, but March 9th of 2017 is when the best paranormal evidence yet is caught on camera. He doesn't have ghost hunting equipment, but he is still able to pin down the supernatural activity to one corner of the room. It isn't long before he gets all of the paranormal proof he needs. It looks like the object's moving by itself, but at 1 minute and 45 seconds, I'm almost positive there's a string tied around the bottom of the glass vase. My overall analysis is that Adrian's probably moving the object himself, but your opinion can help me decide if this paranormal evidence is fake or real. This hauntingly scary video was taken during a ceremony in the desert of Saudi Arabia. Look closely or you'll miss the scary stuff. First, pay attention to how the flames bend without any wind. Any gust of wind blowing the flames this hard should be kicking up sand and moving the branches of the nearby bush, but it's not. Then, after 16 seconds, a bizarre phantom apparition begins to materialize in the circled area. What's beyond creepy is this scary face that appears at 18 seconds and never fully goes away. A still image taken at 19 seconds reveals a floating face with a big nose and strong chin. Freaky, right? Or maybe it's just a lens flare from the flames. Still, the timing is a little bit too coincidental to not at least briefly consider the paranormal. A YouTuber named All-in-One Gaming is watching television when a flash of light catches his eye. He looks out his window only to see a shady person trying to gain entry to a nearby shed. All-in-One Gaming is stunned by the situation for a full minute before he remembers that he has motion sensor lights. He quickly activates them and sends the intruder running.
I turn on the light. Holy shit.
It is not clear if this person is simply looking to take property or if they are one of his thousands of fans who somehow got his home address. If this was a stalker, then who knows what they would have done if they had gotten to him. Some creepy moments were caught on street cam in a neighborhood believed to be in India. A man on a motorcycle suddenly pulls over and stares at something. Another person looks over their shoulder and gives pause at something unseen as well. At 1 minute and 14 seconds, the man on the motorcycle nods at whatever's approaching, as if asking the man what it is. The second man does not acknowledge what he's seen and keeps walking. Moments later, a small child walks directly up to the motorcycle, and one look at his face sends the man reeling. The rumor is that this child was actually a djinn. I don't know what he said or heard, but it's enough to make him flee without his bike. Maybe he thought he was about to get ambushed and decided to give his bike up first. Or maybe, just maybe, this was a real demon sighting caught on camera after all. If so, then I doubt he ever wants to think about what he saw that night again, let alone tell us. This alien-like creature perplexed everyone when the footage was released to the public sometime in 2008. Shell Company says they caught it on video hanging around one of their oil platforms about 200 miles from Houston, Texas. It was eventually identified as a long-legged sea creature called the Magna Pinna squid. But even to this day, many videos still insist that this is evidence of alien life. As such, I just wanted to include this squid on the list to put the rumor to rest. A YouTuber in Australia named Sir Makes a Lot is led by his excited child into the living room to check out a new toy he's been playing with.
Come on.
What he finds is this monster roach slowly pedaling away on freakishly long legs. The toy car is smaller than the bug itself. That's simply terrifying. And when you have a cockroach that's big enough to clog a vacuum cleaner, it's time to move. I mean, to a new continent. I don't think I could ever live in Australia with cockroaches that size roaming around. No offense, Australia. After all, we have towns here in Canada where polar bears wander around. The Ninjin is supposed to be a large aquatic humanoid that was originally discovered by Japanese whale researchers in the Arctic. This video, allegedly taken from the Japanese Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology, appears to strongly corroborate the legend. The slow-moving camera creeps past what appears to be a rounded humanoid creature with two large white eyes. Look closely and you can see a playful smile across the sea creature's face in what some have called a knowing look. Everything from a whale to a rock has been proposed, though nothing has been verified. Let me know if you think this video is evidence of a human-like creature lurking somewhere in the icy waters below. A man claims that he keeps experiencing paranormal activity in his dining room and nowhere else. He feels unsafe and decides to leave a camera running in the dining room to see what goes on when he's not around. Nothing happens for a while, but then something comes along in the window that looks questionable. This is the zoomed-in version. A tiny face appears to peek out at them from the glass panel on the bottom right before darting out of sight. You can't really make out any of its features, but notice how some orbs float by shortly before this happens. It's hard to tell if it's a paranormal creature or just a small animal, but I wouldn't want to be left alone in the house to find out. A news reporter hears a train approach and gets an idea for a shot.
Here, oh, let's do it with the train.
The idea is to have her walk into the shot and let the train pass by for dramatic effect. The only problem is she can't look over her shoulder because it'll ruin the shot. She has to guess how close the train is, and her estimations are a little off.
20 minutes after midnight. Oh!
She manages to take 2 steps and is barely off the tracks when the train flies by. This could have ended a lot differently, and there would have been absolutely nothing for the cameraman to do to stop it. A YouTuber named Dan Baines is the keeper of Mr. Fritz, a ventriloquist dummy that was once used to entertain the troops during the 1940s. He's very old and has since fallen apart to the point where all that remains is his disembodied head. Mr. Fritz is believed to be possessed by the spirit of his creator, a man who lost his life in battle and refuses to rest in peace. Lately, Dan has been seeing and hearing things all around the antique, so he sets up a camera to record. It's 3:30 in the morning when the glass door pops open. I don't see a string. Do you? This happens again at around the same time the next night, except this time his eyes open. String or no string, watch this part and tell me how a wooden ventriloquist dummy can open its eyes with no one nearby. And if you zoom in for a closer look, you'll see two orbs race by shortly after the case opens. I'm not saying that this video is impossible to fake, but unless this is an electronic prop that is being controlled with a remote, then I don't see how it can be done. Emergency workers gather outside of a room where something terrible has happened and lives were possibly lost. As the camera zooms in, it catches a scary looking figure peering back at them, its neck twisted so many times that it has become long and thin. The closer they zoom in, the more facial detail I see. Its face is half shrouded in darkness, but I can see the eyes, and it has tall black hair, or maybe it's simply a crack in the wall. This YouTuber shakily records their apartment while inspecting every last corner. It's obvious that they no longer feel safe here and want to record for proof. Nothing is out of the ordinary until they silently cross into the bedroom. And that's when the horror is revealed. A girl with long black hair over her face sits crumpled on the floor. Look again and you'll see that even her arms and feet have no detail at all, like a silhouette. When he checks again to make sure he is not seeing things, he's surprised to find she is all gone. Throngs of people gather in the mountain province of Guizhou, China, to witness strange trumpet sounds in the sky. As you listen, tell me what this is and why it would happen way out in the middle of nowhere. The group hears 4 strange noises in a row, and yet none of them actually sees anything scary in the sky. But that's not all. The phenomenon known as sky trumpets is only the first phase. Soon the mountain range is filled with the sounds of a giant unknown creature, an enormous wildcat that's heard all over but seen by no one. And the final phase sounds like 2 giant creatures clashing. There's a clear victor, and one of them sounds like they are falling from the sky. Modern science cannot explain what's behind these noises, which makes you wonder if there's any semblance of truth behind the various ancient mythologies that speak of similar events. A security camera records a woman as she sits in a dance studio with her back to the mirror. Suddenly, her reflection turns around and stands at her menacingly. The woman continues on her daily routine and simply walks away, completely unaware of the danger behind her. If this video is real, then I can only imagine what would have happened if she had walked towards it instead. Number 12. The Light-Sensitive Ghost. This video comes from another country, but you don't have to know the language to understand what's going on. A group of kids appear to have broken into some type of amusement park late at night, and they are now exploring the area. They are commenting on the various pieces of equipment when they come across a large replica of a woman that makes them fall silent. She is very pale with an expression of surprise and displeasure, almost as if she can see them and knows what they are up to. They move their flashlight over its eyes, and the tall figure blinks once at them. The scared group goes off running, and later submits their amateur footage to the local news. It's then loaded onto YouTube soon after. We've all seen reflections in the window at night, but maybe none as creepy as what YouTuber Mystic Paranormal found in his car window. Mystic published this video in August 2017, writing that it was the scariest thing he ever captured on video. Let's be the judge of that. In the video, the YouTuber says he captured a hag on his phone's camera. He seems to want to capture some more footage, but cars keep driving by, which interrupts a proper view of the hag-like face. The woman in the video says she's scared to turn because the face has been appearing on her side of the vehicle. For a while, they're sitting in the darkness, hoping to capture the image on camera. While they wait, their camera runs out of battery, but the image they've already captured does appear like a masked hag reflected in the window. What is this, an apparition? Does this woman even exist? Whatever the reality of this is, a strange reflective phenomenon caught on camera, or an old lady's spirit, the result is chilling. Most of us have watched videos that return to us in our sleep. Imagine a robot child with deadened eyes. Would you want to be greeted with such a smile? TechCrunch calls Affetto the wild boy head robot of your nightmares. A comment on this video clip by YouTube user Ragnarok AT confirms that. Thank you for bringing my absolute scariest nightmare to life. I won't be sleeping for the next few days. Once this robot grins at you, you probably won't either. The idea was to give the robot human-like emotions, and that's what these researchers did, but for some reason the result is so uncanny it gives you the chills. A video of the Affetto prototype was first posted in 2011. Back then it was even scarier than today's version. Researchers have since added facial skin and hair, but that doesn't seem to remove the deadness from the robot's eyes. In fact, it likely makes the cyberhuman seem even more bizarre. Apart from the creepiness of the robot's facial expressions, blades and spikes jut out of its body, as though it's a machine meant to destroy you. The three researchers wrote of their continued progress with the robot, citing new methods to create more expressivity in the second-generation model of Affetto. These findings, the researchers claim, will allow for deeper interactions with humans due to the broader range of robot emotions. While all of this is very technical, viewing the video clip will inspire an entirely visceral emotional reaction. And believe me, the movements of this robot child will not leave your nightmares soon. Strange behavior from a stranger at night is enough to make your spine tingle. This video, published by Mostava El Press in April of 2010, begins with some intense music and a vehicle stopped on the side of a highway at night. At first, you may not spot what the people in the vehicle are looking at, but once they zoom in, you can see a figure moving on the railing at the side of the road. The figure is unclear and indistinct at first. It's hard to tell if it's a human being or something else, but what's clear is it's scary enough in reality for the men in the vehicle to back away. Later, someone gets out of the vehicle to film the creature. As it turns out, the figure does appear to be a human being dressed in white with long legs, walking across the railing in slow, deliberate movements. When it comes nearer, the man cries out in Arabic and runs away as fast as he can. Someone's always gotta ruin the party. Posted to TikTok by Suntuk Ajasi. This group took a bunch of photos at a waterfall in Indonesia, but one pic turned out much creepier than the rest. As the group poses before this beautiful falls, a black-robed figure is spotted, lurking in the background. You cannot see its face, but it seems to be watching them. What is this figure doing? And did it lose their life in these falls? I guess we're left with more questions than answers for this one. Some videos have the power to keep us up all night long. As we're drifting off to sleep, they enter into our subconscious, making us sit bolt upright. The fear is real. The fright. This was posted to Reddit with the uploader writing, "My friend is security at the airport, and he saw this through the security cameras." The video shows an American Airlines desk with what appears to be a service door beside it. The airport looks empty. Perhaps the security footage was taken during closing hours. But if it's empty, what makes the door do this? The door swings open aggressively, with no one behind it. These types of doors are usually heavy and secure, and as AstroCath explains in the comments, are often locked or require a manual code to open, so it's unclear how wind or something natural might have burst the door open like this. So what could it be? Theories in the comments range from a ghost running late for a flight to unequal air pressure. Redditor Steve MageGod points out that there's a slight shadow change before the door flings open, so as usually happens, We've got those who think this is paranormal activity on one side, and the skeptics who suggest this could be readily explained on the other. Which side are you on? This CCTV footage shows a young woman hurrying down a flight of steps, only to find something waiting for her at the bottom of the stairwell. The shadowy figure turns towards her, and if you look closely, you can almost make out the circular white outline of a face. She bolts away and the apparition quickly pursues. If this video is real, then nobody knows what happened next, or if she even survived. This creepy farmhouse will have you swearing off abandoned buildings for life. Published by .do's Urban Exploration in April of 2013. The uploader admits to being skeptical to the paranormal, but this incident made him consider opening up to the possibility. Da writes that the house sits about a half a kilometer from a road in Bobcage, Ontario. The house is isolated with just a barn and an outcrop of other buildings. It appears from a distance to be tightly boarded up, but a back door was wide open. He writes, now it is very possible all the environmental conditions were perfect for this experience. However, Wingman Jan happened to be with me on this explore, and we are in agreement. There was something more to this. He says the video doesn't really do the reality justice. The sounds were much more magnified, which he describes as like freight trains. He writes, there was the sound of someone else walking. There was the sound of something heavy being dragged across the floor, and when exiting, it was like being followed out to the threshold of Inside and Out. Without further ado, let's take a look at the cryptic video. Even the approach to the house's exterior is a bit unnerving. The back door is under an overhanging, which our friends sneak beneath to catch a glimpse of a bunch of knickknacks and garbage littering the ground, including an old sewing machine. The back door is wide open, it's dark inside. They climb the steps to the kitchen area, also disheveled and covered with odds and ends. Once inside, they're stepping over the trash and other items on the floor, while scanning the rooms with a flashlight. They enter the living room. Something on a door across the room flies up. It appears to be blown by a breeze. The door then opens and slams shut, while our brave Da backs away. Instead of racing out of there, they get closer. The door keeps creaking open and slamming shut again. He finally enters the empty hallway. No one is there. He shines the flashlight upstairs, and just when you think he's going to explore that second level, he hurries the heck out of that house. Probably a smart idea. The house alone is unsettling. I can't imagine what being there in person must have felt like. Although Da knows some might call him a coward for being afraid, he insists that you had to be there to know what it truly felt like. On the contrary, most people believe in the comments of this video that Da was brave to stay in this obviously haunted house as long as he did. I'm one of them. When you see a video titled Most Authentic Ghost Footage of All Time, you know it's gonna be good. You also know it's sure to keep you up at night. Posted by YouTuber Faden in August of 2006, the footage was filmed at Triangular Field in November of 2001. The original uploader said that the figures are floating up into the trees because where you see the flat rock, there's actually a 10-foot drop. In the video, you can see a vague figure drifting amongst the trees. From this distance, it's hard to tell what it could be, but most agree it's not human. One YouTuber in the comments, MV and Even, claims to have interviewed the people who took this video for a podcast and says they're legit and so is this video. Others insist that this is the best ghost footage they've ever seen. Some paranormal experts claim to have heard sounds of battle in the field and also claim that camera equipment has been known to fail on site. This seems like the perfect place to find spirits roaming with unfinished business. Do you think that's what this is? Or do you have a better explanation? Walking home in the dark is never a treat. It's even worse if you cross paths with something like this. Posted to YouTube in February of 2018 by Rohit Mukherjee. This ghost sighting was caught on camera in India. The YouTuber writes that one of his uncle's friends captured the creature on camera while returning home late from work with a friend. He writes, as he was coming down the road, he heard some noises, mostly shrieks, and he thought it might be an animal or something. As he was looking around, he saw something on the trees and pointed his mobile camera towards it, and then he saw this mysterious creature. The footage does show a figure in the trees. It looks like a human outline. At first, you assume it's just some oddity in the shadows, but then it moves. After seeing this creature, the men say, "Bug, bug," which means run, run. They then raced home and sent the video to Rohit's uncle. What do you think this figure could be? A ghost, an evil shadow, or some other strange entity? Or maybe it's just a monkey? TikToker Queen Alex posted this haunting video to the site. The clip shows a phone strapped onto a stand, recording footage of a woman in the distance near a forest. You might have to watch this clip a few times to see it, but if you look at the tree to the right of her, you can see what appears to be a figure move from one side of the tree to the other. What is going on here? Is it a trick of visual trickery, or have we all fallen into some time warp loop? Whatever it is, it's seriously uncanny. I wouldn't go anywhere near that forest. Thank you so much for getting me to 20,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers next. Thank you.